go. But yes, it was originally slated for today. And if everyone had been here all week and if people hadn't been absent and if people had made up their quizzes. But I never got to hand back your quizzes because people hadn't finished them. Jeremy, okay, section 8.5. You guys have a color pen or a highlighter or something? Intercept form. Okay. I did not give you the formula here. I did on 8.4. We circled it. We highlighted it yesterday. We talked about H. We talked about K. Intercept form. Hold on. Let's write this one down. Intercept form is Y or F of X or G of X or whoever equals A. Sometimes something is in front. X minus P times X minus Q. Now, intercept form, you guys should be taking notes on the test review and Wisconsin. I gave you a copy. Yeah. Yeah. Because the test review kind of like the practice test, but also I'm giving hints that you should be studying as you're working on the problem. So have out that practice test, that test review.
This one.
Yeah. And then turn to 8.5. Right. Jerry, what's up, bud? Go really fast. So intercept form, I also want you guys to put down that this is factored form. Because hopefully that reminds you that if it's not factored, we have to do that first, right? You've been seeing that multiple times with factored. So factored form, intercept form. Oh, going off of Hannah's answer the other day. Let's remind ourselves that it's what type of intercept? Circle x-intercept. That's specifically what types of intercepts, right? X-intercepts. Now down here, for filling in the blank, I need some of you, because the quizzes, you switched it up, I need some of you to remember what types of answers go in. Why am I doing a parentheses with commas? A vertex is what type of piece of information? It's a point with an X and a Y, right? It's a point with an X and a Y. Axis of symmetry, though. Hold on, that's just the X. That's just the X. X-intercepts. Do you guys remember what those look like?
Yes.
How many points?
2.
Usually 2. As long as there are 2 parentheses, there are 2 points. And both of those points, if it's an X-intercept, what's the Y?
0.
Good. Now hold on. We should probably write ourselves a quick reminder. I'm getting out my highlighter, okay? Quick reminder. When we go from the intercept form down to, right, doesn't P go in one of those X-intercepts? That's the first thing we fill in.
Yeah.
And doesn't Q go into one of those X-intercepts? The second thing we plug in?
Yeah.
What happens to the signs? They flip. They switch. They're backwards, right?
Yes, correct.
And on 8.4, didn't we write that yesterday with H? Isn't P backwards also?
Yeah.
Now, some of you worked on this last night. Be checking your answers and make sure you wrote them like this. Some of you worked on this last night. Be checking your answers and see if it matches up. Did you have X equals? Did you have a point? Wait. So P goes there. Switch the sign. Q goes there. Switch the sign. Where do we go next? Yeah, we go to the X equals. And how do we use the P and Q to get this one? Plug it into what formula?
1.
Add the 2 and divide by 2. Good. Add the 2 and divide by 2. So we switch the signs when we bring it down. We add the 2, divide by 2. We have the axis of symmetry. And what or where else does that X go? Good. That can also go into the vertex. So that doesn't finish our vertex. That only gives the X of the vertex. So how do we fill in the Y? If we have the X, how do we find the Y? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put a quick little, don't forget to plug in. Now, hold on. We worked so hard in multiple sections on plugging in. What is the order of operations that we have to be so careful just to go step by step to get them perfectly? PEMDAS. Watch out for PEMDAS. Okay? So don't forget to plug, I didn't finish the statement. Don't forget to plug in. So we find our P plus Q divided by 2. We plug it in to find our Y. What's the domain? Always. All real numbers. That's easy for parabola. What's the range start with? What letter do we use? Y. What's always going to come after the Y? Either Greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, dependent on the shape of the parabola. Okay, so let's do a quick reminder. Ready? Because we're writing notes to ourselves for studying. When is it greater than or equal to? When is it less than or equal to? What's my parabola going to look like such that all the y's have to stay above a value? Is it going to be up or is it going to be down? Good. If I have to stay above, it's going to be looking like an up. Upwards facing, concave, up parabola. We're writing ourselves little notes, Jeremy, so we know how to fill in the blanks for section 8. And then this one, less than or equal to, is below. And who's going to stay below? A parabola that is concave down. So the key is, did you graph it? If you know the vertex and the two x-intercepts, shouldn't you always be able to this, right? So if you have the swoop, all you got to do is say, hey, it's either greater than or equal to, or it's less than or equal to who? You guys okay if we zoom in and actually solve this one and make sure we have all the pieces? Yeah. Okay, we're going to do that. Is that good enough? Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. Ready? Who were the P and Qs for this guy for number 5? -3, Good. -3. You guys switch the sign. And -1. So up here in the formula, shouldn't we do -3 plus -1 all over 2? Yeah. Can anybody zoom ahead and tell me what happens when you do the correct PEMDAS? -2. Good. Now that we have -2, what do I need to do with that negative? Oh, he goes in this spot too, right? What do I need to do with that -2? Plug it in, plug it in. So I'm going to come up here and say, I need to know what the y is at -2. Focus. PEMDAS. What should I do first? Okay, so this parenthesis gets me a 1, right? Yeah. This parenthesis gets me a -1. What's the only operation still up here? What's going on? Jerry, Everest, Andrew. What's going on with all of these? They need to be what? Multiplied. So don't I just go left to right? What's -3 times 1? What's -3 times -1? Okay, as long as we go carefully. Now, guys, I'm going to double check on the test. I'm going to double, triple. Yeah, you know me, I need to triple check. I need to triple check on the test. I will make sure all the points fit in your graph. So if you get something crazy like 32, double check your work, and if you're like, I can't find the mistake, call me over and be like, I did something wrong. Now, I can't necessarily tell you the answer, but I might be like, check this step. Because it's mistake pattern. I get it. But does this fit on the graph? Yeah, easy. So can't I graph my -3, 0, my oh, sorry, I'm graphing my intercepts. My -3, 0, my -1, 0. Good, thanks for double checking though. And then -2 is going to go positive, 1, 2, 3. Does it make sense this is a downwards parabola? Yeah. It's a negative, right? It's a negative, it's facing down. So what does that mean about my inequality? Less than or equal to. Now here's why I did all this work. Less than or equal to who or what? Why did Kayla so confidently say 3? It's the y. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, are the y's. So this x gets stolen, this 3 gets stolen. Not really, but there's a pattern, and that pattern we can try to remember. Now, should this help you a lot to do number 6 in practice? Yes. But what's the one thing that makes number 6 harder from the beginning? It needs to be factoring, right? Yeah. So can we review factoring for a second, real fast? Yes. Okay? So factoring. If you want, you can write this off to, oops, don't worry, I'm dual paging it. Unless my computer hates me, then I'm walking over here to dual page it. There we go. Okay, factoring, just for a second. Factoring. We need to factor x squared minus 8x plus 15. Can I put the 15 in the top? Yes. And if I do, what goes in the bottom? 1 and 15. Remember, we go through the factors. 2 and nothing. 3 and 5. Ha! 3 and 5. I like those, but you have to make sure your signs work. Yeah. Positive, good, but now it works, right? A negative, negative. And then a negative times a negative. Now, the nice thing is, since all of these are the easy ones on the test, I'm not giving you the hard ones with numbers in front, we can technically Now here's what's weird. Some of you are like, backwards, backwards, backwards. Not yet. Not yet. If you use a table, you would see what the answer is. You wouldn't even have to remember this whole, hey, take it and put in, don't do backwards yet. If you did a table, you should see, hey, I'm just pulling out a positive x and a positive x, but a negative 3 and a negative 5. Like if you do the box, you know you're good if you have the box down. But if you're trying to do the shortcut, just keep the signs the way they are until we go to use them for the answers. Then do we have to flip the signs? Yes. So what's my factors? X minus 3. Now is it like the first one? Yeah. Now it's like the first one. Guys, section 8.5. Okay, so we went over what the intercept formula looks like. We went over how to connect all the pieces. Can we just go down to number 7 and 8 real fast? How do the directions change in number 7 and 8? Because on the test, the directions might change. You might have ones that have lots of blanks for you to fill in, like 5 and 6, but you might also have ones that don't have any blanks. Yeah, Max?
So will the test go like from 8.4 in order?
Say it one more time.
Will it go in order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the test will go in order. I don't want that picture. Sorry, hold on. There we go. For number 7 and 8, what are the directions, guys? Just read them out loud real fast.
Use the 7 and 8.
Okay, so use the zeros. Oh, that was a bonus on the quiz, wasn't it? Use the zeros. So if we're using the zeros, let me undo this real fast because we were just factoring. Let me add a page over here. Okay. Yeah. Use, everybody wrote it down at the very beginning of the quiz. It was not the first quiz, it was the second one. Ooh, some of you just got a hint about the bonus on the quiz you missed. Use zeros. Who are the zeros? The x intercepts. Are the x-intercepts something that we're supposed to be able to know like this? Like? Yes, as long as it's in what form? Intercept or factor form, right? So what's the dilemma with both of these? What do you have to try to do? They need to be factored. Can we do this one because it looks a little harder than that one? Is that okay? Why is this one a little harder? I told you there were no hard ones, so why did I give you this one? Isn't it it's a GCF, isn't it? It would have been hard if it wasn't a GCF, but it's now careful, double check that you're dividing everything by -2. But it's a GCF, so it comes out. If it comes out, isn't it now one of our basic easier ones? Maybe not easy, but easier. Is there a factor of -4 that makes -3? I'm doing it fast just for this example, and then I'm letting you guys work through slower on the other ones, right? That's what we're going to be doing in class once we finish these little tips and tricks and reminders. From this, some of you. This was you. Okay, -2. I'm just going to go quick and not do the table. My table people, you know how it works. You're okay. Do we have the factors? Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There are no blanks to fill in. That's easy. I'll just put a swoop somewhere and get no points. Pause. How did we get a graph up above? And there's going to be questions on the test with all the blanks. How did we get a graph? Okay, so we want our x-intercepts and we want our vertex. Those two things are all we need, right? So x-intercepts, can't we just steal these guys but switch the signs? Perfect. So we have our -1, 0 and our 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. Our vertex, can't we just do our p plus q over 2? Is it a fraction? Oh wait, some of you like decimals way better, and you're going to have calculators tomorrow. Bring yours or borrow one of mine. Does anybody know what 3/2 is as a decimal? 1.5. Question, can your calculators do something really snazzy like mine? Now, maybe not all of them, but at least some of them. Did you guys ever notice that a lot of your calculators have parentheses on them? Do you realize you can actually take, wait, why am I taking the 1.5 and plugging it in? Because what am I trying to find? Your calculator can do this. Some of you stress out so much about fractions when you don't have to. Because, especially if I'm letting you use your calculator, oh, not 11, sorry, it's +1. Especially if I'm letting you use your calculator, couldn't you, in most of the calculators up there, couldn't you, or on yours, if there are parentheses, couldn't you just type it and it gives you 12.5? Now, hold on, remember, I said I'm going to make sure that everything fits on the graph tomorrow. This one, all right, we'd have to go 1.5 and 10, 11, 12, okay. Hopefully it makes sense. Because concave down because of the negative, but pause. What are we supposed to be? Oh, graphing the function. Ha, we're done. Got the graph. How? Intercepts, vertex. If I were you, I would highlight those two things. If you have those two things, you're good. If you have those two things, you're good. The x-intercepts, bump, bump, vertex, bump, got it. Does that make sense? I plugged in to get this. I had to plug in my f of 1.5, but I just did it on my calculator. Okay, that's section 8.5. Ready? Section 9.2. A couple hints on that, and then you guys have 15, 20 minutes to work on it. Okay? Section 9.2. What's going on in that one? We are solving by graphing. We're not just graphing. We're not just identifying graph stuff. We're solving by graphing. Now, guys, these first few, I'm not going to take a picture. I am going to take a picture. I'm not going to do them all. But these first few, I know the numbering is off. We talked about it yesterday. Just hang in there. If you do this test review, remember, you don't have to do the book work. It's basically the same problems, a little bit simpler and a little bit more straightforward. But, there we go. Even though the numbering is off, we're still good. We're still good. We're using the graph to solve. How do we solve an equation using a graph? What is this quadratic been set equal to? So what are we really finding? Ready? Here's the hint. What are we really doing if it says solve the equation? We are finding who or what? The zeros. And who did you guys just tell me the zeros were? So we just have to figure out where it fits the x-axis. Where's number 13? Whatever, number 9, the first one. Where did it fit the x-axis? -1 and it's as easy as that. If I give you a graph, just find where it hits that. Wait, where it hits? Look at number 14. No solution because it doesn't hit. What about number 15? Oh, we're doing all three of them? Oh, what's number 15? And that's it? Sometimes parabolas can just hit at one. If you want to look like, peek behind the scenes at what's going on, this one would have been x plus 5 times x plus 5, which is the same thing as x plus 5 quantities squared. There's only one intercept because it hits at 1 point. Jeremy. Because we're looking for, who are my zeros again? The x, what's int for? Does this hit the x-axis at all? No solution. Which is why there are how many solutions? And where are they? At -1 and at 3. And where does this one hit? Just once. See it? You see it? Just looking for the x-intercepts. Now, what's harder with, look, it's the end. What's harder for the end of 9.2? What do I not give you? These ones were graphs. Easy. Look for the x-intercepts, as long as you know the concept. But what's going on in these ones, guys? You're finding it. I didn't give you the graph, did you? I didn't give you the graph. You're finding it. So if you're finding it, well then don't you kind of have to do all the work that we've just done as far as finding the intercepts? Come on, go up. Finding the intercepts? Solve. Good. I want x equals. But how do I get it? Solve. Good. I want x equals. But how do I get it? Factor. Find the zeros. over here. Oh, it's not even written right. Then change it. How do we change it? Do you guys see that I'm giving you the hints that you need? Think factoring. Think if it's not written right, get standard form first. Well, how do we get standard form? That was homework. Yeah. Move this guy to the other side of the equation. Remember, don't combine if they're not like terms. And then try to factor. And then try, ooh, wait, you. Maybe you don't see it, but I do. 4 is 2 and 2 or 1 and 4. Do any of those add or subtract to be 1?
No.
So this is one of those weird ones. If you want, you can put this in parentheses. There might be a problem like this where you might have to move and have a problem that you can factor. I'm not saying anything where you have to move is not on the test. But something that you can't factor won't be on the test. But Ever said it. I think that was you. You said no solution.
Yeah,
Oh, Jerry did. Sorry, you guys did it right next to each other. I think it's a no solution one. And we'll learn next chapter how to actually mathematically work with this since this doesn't work. But for right now, yeah, if you guys graphed by using that old school, remember, parentheses because I'm not putting in no solution where you can't show me work and you get stuck. I'm not going to put one of those on there tomorrow. But if you did get the vertex, and I'm just helping you finish this problem right now, because I don't need you to do it by yourself. We would take negative b, which is the 1, all over 2a, which is that guy in the very front, and he would be our x equals our axis of symmetry. He would be our vertex x, and whenever we have an x, all we have to do is plug in to find the y. So we would come back up here and we'd say, who is f of negative 0.5, and as I showed you guys, if you have a good calculator, you can do that. You can put in negative 0.5 squared plus negative 0.5 plus 4. And you end up getting, actually, like doing fractions better, that's 1/4 minus 1/2, negative 1/4 plus 16/4. That's 15/4. Decimals were way too hard for me to do in my head, but easy on a calculator. Long story short, we get negative 0.5 and 3.25, which, negative 0.5 and 1, 2, 3 in a little bit, this is a concave up. I don't know exactly how, but is he ever hitting? No solution. I'm putting parentheses around the part that you won't have to worry about for the test. You're not going to have to go finding the vertex the whole time. I'm just showing you why it's no solution. And you won't have to worry about a factoring that doesn't work. You won't have to worry about that. You might have to move and then factor that it won't be one of these nasty no solutions. The only time you're going to have a no solution one is if I give you a graph like over here and you have to realize no intercept. I give you the graph. You need no solution. All right, you guys have a few extra things to finish up as far as problems that we didn't do all together. I have an answer key of the test review all worked out that some of you might want to access if you're able to finish it. So that way you don't have to look online tonight. You can look at it. I'm actually going to put both pages side by side. But right now, I actually need to get people taking the makeup quizzes because we have about 15 minutes, which is how long we normally have, okay? Yeah. So people that need to make or take makeup quizzes are the following. Hopefully no one needs to take both, or else we might have to do something later. And I'm going to move you guys all to that end row. Don't take any notes. Don't bring any books. Just grab a calculator and a pencil and come over here to the side, okay? And grab a seat in that last row. I need Danny, you have one from a while ago. And then I need Brooke, Alexis, Armando, Everest. No, Everest, yours is, I got that. Andrew, yours is upstairs. Caleb. So I need Danny, I need Caleb, I need Brooke, Alexis, Armando, and Caleb. You guys grab a seat over here, bring your pencil, and go grab a calculator. That might be the best thing. The nice thing is what we reviewed today is a lot of what's on the quiz. Like section 8.5, filling in the blanks. So to be honest, we already kind of did the reviews. I'm going to have you take it now. That way everybody can have their quiz to study. If you want to come in a later time to maybe retake if you're afraid that this one goes badly, just come talk to me. We'll see. We'll see. But like we did a quiz right. Everybody else, I'm going to have you guys working together but staying kind of quiet. Danny, yours is the one for people. No, hold on, Armando, you're coming over to your seat. Ripper, you're sitting. Grab a calculator and pencil. Danny, you're sitting.
Yeah. I get paid for it. Wow.
23rd or 24th, guys? 23rd. Danny, since yours is the one that we didn't review today, we reviewed yesterday, I'll just show you. Remember, we take him to make the X, we take him to make the Y. And then we have the vertex which leads us, and we can make the table.
No, I don't have
fill in the points.
Might be using your hand.
No. Okay, guys, remember you're handing in the test review tomorrow, so be working together. And remember that my answer key is up here on the stool. If you want to come check any of your answers at any time, you may.
Wait, no. Oh, yeah.
I had a couple other hands. Who else had their hands?
Oh,
Yeah.
can I go to the restroom?
Yeah, go quick. That way you can come back.